Okay, so I'm just going to go through exercise 9.2, the solutions. So first of all, we have 10 over 2x minus 5 minus 2 over 3x minus 2. The first thing we need to do is we're asked to simplify these into one single fraction. So what I need to do is I need to get a common denominator. So my common denominator here in this case is going to be my two bottom numbers. Remember, I never have to multiply out those two brackets. So the first thing I'm going to do is I write down my numerator, which is 10. And I look at 2x minus 5. How many times does 2x minus 5 divide into the common denominator here and leave no remainder? So I cover over my 2x minus 5 and I'm left with 3x minus 2. So I write my bracket 3x minus 2. Now I write down my numerator over here, so which is minus 2. And I look at my common denominator now and I go 3x minus 2. How many times does 3x minus 2 divide into this here, my denominator, and leave no remainder? Okay, so I cover over my 3x minus 2 and I'm left with 2x minus 5. So I put up my bracket 2x minus 5. Now what I need to do is I need to multiply out my top brackets and tidy it up. So 10 times 3x will give me 30x. 10 times minus 2 will give me minus 20. Minus 2 times 2x will give me minus 4x. And minus 2 by minus 5 will give me plus 10. And then tidying this all up, I'll get 26x minus 10 all over my common denominator. Question 7 then was 11 over x minus 2 plus 2 over 2 minus x. So the first thing I have to do is I have to get my common denominator, which is x minus 2, 2 minus x. I need to then write down my numerator, which is 11. And I look at my denominator and I see how many times does x minus 2 divide into my denominator here without leaving a remainder, covered over, they're cancelling, and I'm left with 2 minus x. Plus, I write down my numerator here, which is 2, and I ask myself the question, how many times does 2 minus x go into my denominator here, which is x minus 2. So then it's 11 times 2, which is 22, 11 times minus x, which is minus 11x, 2 times x, which is 2x, 2 times minus 2 is minus 4. Tidying it up, I get minus 9x plus 18 all over x minus 2, 2 minus x. The question did say that I needed to simplify it, so I actually have a further step to go. I need to get it in its lowest possible form. So I need to remember what I did last year with my 4 different types of factorising. So you covered that last year. So my 4 different types of factorising is my highest common factor, my grouping, my difference of 2 squared, and my quadratic trinomials. So in this case, girls, you always try to use your highest common factor first. So what do these two have in common? What's the highest common factor they have in common? It's 9. 9 divides into both 9x and 18. So I take out my 9. Right, when I divide minus 9x by 9, I'm left with minus x. And when I divide 18 by 9, I'm left with 2. So I can double check if I'm definitely correct by multiplying back out. So 9 times minus x is minus 9x. 9 times plus 2 is 18. Right, now I realise, okay, so my minus x plus 2 cancels with my 2 minus x, because this is going to be a positive 2, that's a positive 2. This is a minus x, that's gone. So a simplified version is 9 over x minus 2. Okay, the next one then that you had to do was question 8, and question 8 is 3 over 3x minus 4 minus 1 over 4 minus 3x. So the first thing I need to do is I need to get a common denominator. So my common denominator in this case is 3x minus 4, 4 minus 3x. Then what I need to do is I need to write down my numerator, which is 3, and I look at my denominator and I say, how many times does this divide in evenly and leave no remainder? Okay, so 3x minus 4 divides in evenly and leaves no remainder, with my 4 minus 3x is just left over. Then I write my numerator over here, minus 1, bracket, so I divide how many times does 4x minus 3x go into this here and leave no remainder, so I cover over my 4 minus 3x, and I'm left with 3x minus 4, so I write that here. Then I need to multiply out my top bracket, so 3 times 4 will give me 12, 3 times minus 3x will give me minus 9x, minus 1 times 3x is minus 3x, minus 1 times minus 4 is plus 4. Then I need to just tidy it up, so I get minus 9 minus 3x will give me minus 12x, 12 plus 4 is 16, all over 3x minus 4, bracket 4 minus 3x. I was asked to simplify it, so I need to always check, is there more that I can simplify? So I look at the top and I do my highest common factor again. So what's the highest common factor that goes in between 12 and 16? And it's 4, so I take out my 4. So 12 minus 3x, 16 divided by 4 will give me my 4, all over my common denominator. So here I can see again, so I have minus 3x, this is minus 3x here, plus 4, this is a positive 4 here as well, so that's going to cancel, and this is why I'm left at 4 over 3x minus 4, so that's your final answer for that one. Okay, so question 9 then was 1 over 5x plus 3 over 2x. So I know that I've taught you that you need to always multiply these out here, okay? So I've gone through this quickly and it's in your solution. But you need to remember that you have to simplify it in its lowest possible form, okay? So if you did this way, you would have been able to just cancel out your x's here, and then it would have been 17 over 10, okay? Because that would have been x squared. What I have here though is I've done it this way. So I've said, okay, so 5x and 2x, what's my lowest common denominator between the two of those? So my lowest number, possible number, both of them will go into is 10, but I need to remember to bring the x as well. Okay, so I look here, okay, so how many times is 5x divided into 10x? It goes in twice, times my numerator, which is 1, plus how many times is 2x go into 10x? It goes in 5 times my numerator, which is 3. So I have 2 times 1, which is 2, and 5 times 3, which is 15, all over 10x. And I have 17 over 10x. But if you did this method as well, you would have got the exact same answer down when you broke it down, because this is going to give me 10x squared. So it would be 17 over 10x squared. Okay, so so this is going to cancel, and I'm going to be left with 17 over, there's just going to be 1x left. The next one here then is question 10. So I have 1 over 3x minus 2 over 6x. So I need to get my lowest common denominator, or my common denominator here. So 3x and 6x will both divide evenly into 6x. So then I look at my denominator here. So how many times does 3x go into 6x? So it divides in evenly and leaves no remainder twice, times my numerator, which is 1, minus 6x. How many times does 6x go into 6x? It goes in 1, times my numerator, which is 2. So I have 2 times 1, which is 2, 2 times 1 again, so minus 2 times 1, and that's minus 2, which will give me 0 over 6x, which the answer is just going to be 0. Question 11 then is, what I have is 8 over y plus 1 minus 1 over y. So I need to get my common denominator here. So it's y plus 1 y. So I look here, okay, so I go, right, I write down my numerator and I say, how many times is y plus 1 divided evenly? I cover over my y plus 1 and I'm left with just y here. So it's 8 times y. Minus, now I go on to my y. How many times does my y divide evenly? So I cover over my y and I'm left with y plus 1 times my numerator, which is minus 1. So I have 8y minus 1 times y is minus y, minus 1 times 1 is minus 1. So I'm left with 7y minus 1, and I can't simplify that down any further. The next one here is question 12. So I have 3 over p plus 4 minus 2 over p. So I need to get my common denominator here, which is p plus 4 and p. So I take my numerator, which is 3, and I ask myself the question, how many times is p plus 4 divided into my denominator, leaving no remainder? So I cover it over, I'm left with p minus my numerator here, which is 2. P divides in here even, it leaves no remainder, and I'm left with p plus 4. So 3 times p will give me 3p, minus 2 times p will give me minus 2p, minus 2 times plus 4 will give me minus 8, and then just tidying it up, so 3p minus 2p will give me p minus 8, and that's my final answer there. Question 13, I was given this 7 over x minus 3 plus 2 over 3 minus x, and I'm asked to put the answer in the form k over x minus 3. So I know I'm going to have to do some simplifying at the very end. Alright, so I need to get my common denominator. So my common denominator is going to be x minus 3, 3 minus x. So I write down my numerator, which is 7, and I ask myself the question, how many times is x minus 3 dividing evenly and leave no remainder? And I'm left with 3 minus x. Then I do the exact same over here. So I write down my numerator, which is 2, And I ask myself the question, how many times is 3 minus x divided evenly and leave no remainder? And I'm left with x minus 3. So I have 7 times 3, which is 21. 7 times minus x, which is minus 7x. 2 times x, 2x. 2 times minus 3, minus 6. So then I'm tidying up. Minus 7x plus 2x will give me minus 5x. 21, take away 6, is plus 15. All over x minus 3, 3 minus x. But I need to get it in this form, okay? So I'm obviously trying to get rid of my 3 minus x because I want to keep my x minus 3. So I'm going to look at the top. I need to get my highest common factor again. So what number goes into both of these? 5. Okay, so I take out my 5. So minus 5x divided by 5, I'll be left with a minus x. And then 15 divided by 5, I'll be left with plus 3. Okay, so then minus x plus 3, so this is going to be plus 3 and this is a minus x, so they're gone, and I'm left with 5 over x minus 3 as my final answer, which is here. And then question 14, I am asked to evaluate 1 over x minus 3 over 2x plus 4 when x is equal to 2. So evaluate means I need to find the value of this. So I'm subbing in wherever I see an x, I put in 2. So I have 1 over 2 minus 3 over 2 bracket 2 plus 4. So I get that's equal to a half minus 3. 2 times 2 will give me my 4 plus 4. So I get a half minus 3 over 8, which is 1 over 8. Then part B, I'm asked to put it as a single fraction. So I need to get my common denominator. So my common denominator is going to be x and 2x plus 4. So then what I need to do is I write down my numerator. So my numerator here is 1. And I ask myself, how many times does x go into my denominator and leave no remainder? So I cover over my x and I'm left with 2x plus 4. So that's this here. I need to write down my numerator, which is 3 on the other side. And I ask myself the question, how many times does 2x plus 4 go into my denominator? And I'm left with x. So I have 1 times 2x, which is 2x. 1 times 4, which is 4, minus 3 times x gives me minus 3x. So 2x take away 3 is minus x plus 4. And that's my final answer. And then I was asked to find the value of this when x was equal to 2. So now I need to sub in again when x is equal to 2. So I have minus 2 plus 4. 2 bracket 2 plus 4, and I get the answer when I work this all out as 1 over 8. And then part D, I was asked what did I recognise about part A and C, and I said that the answers are both the same. The final question that you had to do then was question 15. So it says evaluate 3 over x plus 1 plus 10 over x plus a half when x is equal to a half. So here once again, wherever I see x, I'm putting in a half. So it's 3 over a half plus 1 plus 10 over a half plus 2, and I get my answer as 6 down here. The final thing I have to do then is I have to put it into a single fraction. So I get my common denominator, which is x plus 1, x plus 2. I write down my numerator, which is 3, and I ask myself, how many times does x plus 1 go into my denominator here and leave no remainder? And I'm left with x plus 2. And then I write down my numerator here, which is 10. And I ask myself, how many times does x plus 2 go into my denominator here and leave no remainder, which is x plus 1. So 3 times x will give me 3x. 3 times 2 is 6. 10 times x is 10x. 10 times 1 is 10. And when I tidy up, that's my final answer there.